Okay. Hi, this is Katherine with SlapStik, and I'm here with Niem Lyon. And we're just gonna
Yes.
start it off.
Thanks
Uh,
for
how,
having me.
yeah, how long have you been a comedian? Or
Oh man, long enough to be famous, but I'm not. But early 2000, I've been actually been doing it since 2006. So just 17 years and started in the DC market. I'm actually in Chicago market now, but starting in DC back in 2006. So it's been a little bit of a journey. It doesn't feel that long though, because I've been the years just go by after you start.
yeah. And what made you want to explore comedy? Like, what made you want to start your career in that field?
Yeah, I think it's like mostly everybody. I think we all grew up on people, that we saw and mimicked, and like Eddie Murphy. Obviously, Eddie is somebody that we always look to, and he just was dope. He was super dope. We saw him doing the characters. He was on Saturday Night Live and Nutty Professor, Beverly Hills Cop. He just had so much going on. And I think most of us, we just saw that wanted to do it. And I don't think we knew it was actual job though. We thought he was doing something that was mythical, like that wasn't, we just wanted to be in the house, just running around, probably got in trouble a lot at home and at school, trying to mimic that. And then cartoons too. I was a cartoon guy. So Bugs Bunny was my guy.
What
So
cartoons did you like?
I love Bugs Bunny growing up. So I was a big Bugs Bunny. He was so clever. I kind of feel like that's how like a lot of where my comedy comes from, just like quick wit, cleverness, sarcasm. That was Bugs Bunny. Just the way he's the Tasmanian Devil, and all those guys like that, and putting them into like the spin cycle, so to speak. So yeah.
Mhm. Do you more so like write your scripts or do you just improvise whenever you go on stage?
So funny thing about that is I'm actually give kudos to Tony Woods, right? Tony Woods, DC legend, and just a comedic legend. I won't call him, but so when I first started, right, I used to have like a notebook. I would write everything in like paragraph form, right? I would write it out in paragraph form. I mean, it was well written, indented spaces, all that, in my spiral notebook. And I had my book bag that I would come in. We were young, book bag everywhere, right? And then I went out one day, I got my first paying gig, and I was at the spot in Virginia, and Tony Woods was there. He came in late, and he saw me in there, and he was like, "What you doing with that notebook?" And then I was like, holding my jokes, you know what I mean? And he kind of like, he ain't smacking, but he kind of motioned like, don't ever let me see you with that notebook again. So that was very early on, probably in the first 6 months, I really stopped physically writing in that manner. I take notes from time to time. I think everybody take notes on your phone, but now it's more of a mental exercise. Now, kind of like, I'm not Jay-Z, but just how Jay-Z says like a mental exercise, it really is. You kind of say something on stage and you just build off of it. So, that's kind of where I'm at now. So it is a lot of improvising though, too, being in
Yeah.
front of crowds.
What have been your highlights in 2022 so far?
Well, 23 now. So, well, I just did a tour in Germany, which was pretty dope. That was pretty fly. Being out there in Germany, we did a few shows out there. Shucky Ducky was out there with him. And that was I always love traveling. So traveling was always a great thing. Whenever I get it, that was my third tour in Germany. So being out there, that was super dope. A lot going on right now. I'm actually working on my special, as you see, Chasing Brilliance. Just get that little plug right there. Right now, and the highlight of my year should be August 20th. I'm shooting my special. So that to me, looking forward, that's really, I think will be a special moment for me and self-producing this opportunity here. But going to Germany was dope. I always have a good time over there.
Mhm.
And all these other spots I've done, just kind of moving around and getting booked everywhere.
Awesome. And like what specific plans do you have like upcoming, this year? Do you have any shows booked yet
Yeah,
or
yeah, yeah, yeah. So I'm all around. I do a lot of private gigs too. So, I'm working clubs, but I also do a lot of private gigs. So I constantly get booked in different cities for that. Like I'm in Milwaukee in a couple weeks. Have that. I'll be back in DC in a month or so. So still traveling, but honestly, my eyes really are focused on self-producing, being in this game as long as I have, which like I said, doesn't feel long. I just really understand that like it's really about ownership and producing your own things and really setting it. Like even we're on a writer strike right now, right? Hollywood is on a writer strike. You can't count on Hollywood to come get you like back in the day, right? It's 1,000 comedians on every block. So what stands apart? What makes you stand apart from somebody else? So for me right now, it's really about self-producing and putting together shows. Last year, I started Fashionably Funny, which was a monthly showcase to bring artists that I find are funny, but also have style. I'm into fashion. I have my own clothing brand called Draper Norway. So I wanted to kind of fuse the things that I love the most: fashion, style, being humorous and funny, and then the overall experience and catering that. So I think really I'm thinking about writing and directing and self-producing these shows, and hopefully soon we'll be able to, really get a feature length movie out as well.
And going to comedy, like who has been your biggest influence?
Um, so in comedy, specific, Eddie Murphy is my guy. Like Eddie Murphy is my guy. He's the golden standard. But there are other artists that I rock with. Tony Woods, being in DC, seeing him, Chris Thomas, guys like that in DC market that we grew up around. Those guys are really special people that did a lot for us. They've been great and successful, but we look to them and emulate and want to do the things that they do. But I mean, Eddie Murphy, Charlie Chaplin. So I'm actually a Charlie Chaplin fan. I watched like the non-talkies, the silent films. I love those movies back in the day. Slapstick comedy, right? So, back in the day, it was a lot of physical comedy. And to be able to be funny without saying a word, like, how dope do you have to be to do that? So I look back a lot, but then I also look in people in different genres. I grew up on Tupac, right? And Tupac, he was a great overall artist. Yeah, he was a hip hop guy, but he was a poet. He was a musician. He was an actor, and he was a great speaker. And he felt like he had more things to say. And I think that's kind of who I am too. Like I know I can be funny. I know how to tell a joke, right? You can go on stage and tell a joke, but can you craft an experience when you're on stage that people want to actually invest in? Because maybe some of the greatest artists aren't the funniest guys, but they have great stories, and then they can take you on this journey. Patrice O'Neal, he's hilarious, but he could tell a story. You know what I mean? Like the way he could just craft an experience with it. Like guys like that. Shout out to Eddie Griffin. That's my guy too. I love Eddie Griffin. I'm a big Eddie Griffin fan, but Richard Pryor, all those guys.
Yeah. And countering off that, like who other comedians would you want to work with?
Shoot, right now, so like I guess I mean, if I ever could meet Martin Lawrence, I would love to work with Martin, right? Like I think that was another guy that we grew up on, Martin Lawrence. Like I would love to meet Martin. He did so much for my childhood with the Martin Show and Bad Boys. Him and Will Smith. I know Will Smith is not necessarily considered a comedian, but he'd be somebody I would love to work with. Sure, I want to work with The Rock. you know, put me with The Rock. I think too, it's funny, like you look at comedians, you just always think we just think about comedians, but it's just so many people we relate to. And I'm a music guy and all that, but like, Martin, Will Smith, The Rock. Obviously, like I said, it always goes back to Eddie. If I ever meet Eddie, I don't know how I'm gonna act. That might be the first time I ever fan out in front of somebody if I meet Eddie, because he was and Dave Chappelle too. That'd be somebody that I would love to work with. I've been in his presence. I've met him before, shook the man's hand, but I'm having obviously worked with him in that capacity.
Oh, that's great. Yeah,
Yeah.
Chappelle's great.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. I was at a private showing for 2 nights. It was crazy. I was at a private showing. A couple years I was in LA. I was just out there visiting in LA, and he had a private show going on. I was out there doing something else, and one of my friends, actually, I'll give him credit, Boogie B, rest in peace, Boogie B, just passed away in the last year. I was hanging out with him, and he got us into the show with Dave Chappelle. And I mean, this was like standing room only. It's only like 300 people could fit in this spot in Hollywood, and it was just dope to see him that close, right? I mean, it was Tiffany Haddish was there. Yeah, Jeff Ross in the building. Stevie Wonder was there. It was Too Short. I met Too Short that day. Like it was crazy. The crazier thing was the next night I was in LA again with another comedian, right? We go back to the same spot, and I'm in the room again with Dave Chappelle, and it's more. It was the craziest weekend ever, man. I bought Tiffany Haddish a drink, so Tiffany Haddish, if I ever make it again, I got you a shot of tequila. I was going to say that. She offered me, but I said I got you because I had at least 20 on me, so it was cool.
that's the thing.
Yeah, that was a dope experience though. I mean, Stevie Wonder, that was crazy. That was
Yeah.
crazy back night.
Have you met any other celebrities besides them?
Yeah, I mean, it's so many, man. I bumped into, doing this, you meet so many people. Um, the sheesh, man. I mean, Dave Chappelle, I've met obviously everybody that was in there, that room, Brian McKnight, and oh man, put me on the spot here. I've met a lot of people, and sometimes it's just hard to remember everybody. I mean, even Bro Man from the fifth floor, I've worked with him before. He was great. Um, JJ Walker, I've worked with him before. Rondell Sheridan, who was played, I don't know if you're familiar with Rondell, That's So Raven, her father. So I've met him. I've met a lot of people doing this. I think you do this long enough, you're gonna meet some people. Lil Rel is from Chicago. I've been seeing him. He's blowing up now. Lil Rel is all over the place doing movies with like John Cena and stuff. So I've been in rooms with him. But yeah, we've met a lot of people doing this. Sometimes it's hard to remember because we're talking about thousands of nights we out on the scene. But yeah, we've met a lot of people. That comedy is good. It's good for everybody, but for the most part, I think I'll probably say the greatest experience though has probably been meeting Dave Chappelle in that space, in that moment because it was so much going on that night. But you know, maybe I can email you the other stuff because I still got a life I got to live after I talk to you, Catherine. So I don't know why you put me on the spot like that.
No, that's great to hear. Like,
Everything comes back to women.
humor
Chasing Brilliance.
does help. Humor does help in, trying to attract women and everything. So I understand.
It's tough. It's tough because like I'm a pretty reserved person in real life. You know what I mean? But man, when you once that juice gets going in your system, comedy is worse than alcohol. Like that drug, you take that comedic drug is different. It puts you on a high. Like it's the draws be dropping, but you didn't hear that from me. So
Wait,
just
so you're
chase.
more of an introvert if you're not doing comedy?
Yeah, I'm just reserved. I'm really chill. Most people call me. I'm just laid back, right? Like they used to call me Easy when I was young. They used to call me. My name's Niem. Everybody called me Nye. They call me Nye Easy. So I like to chill. I'm observational, But like when I'm on stage, I'm just used to the spotlight. I'm comfortable in front of cameras and that stuff like that. That's just where I thrive. But I'll probably read a book or something. I like to chill and listen to music.
So like before you went on your own shows and everything, were you like super nervous then? Or were you just like rehearsing, and then you just got super comfortable once you got on stage?
Yeah, when I was young, um, in the game, it was nerve-wracking when you first start. Anytime you get on, you do something like they say public speaking is probably the scariest thing for anybody to do, right? Public speaking. And I was young. I started when I was like 20. So I was young, still had cornrows, had a nice full head of hair. I was but I remember the first time going to this spot in DC and my brother was there with me. And he always brings it up now when we talk about it. He said the whole time you were up there, you were looking down, you were looking at the floor, and you were twirling the mic. And I was like, dude, it's my first time. I don't know what to do. You know what I mean? So those first times were tough. And I actually, maybe the second time, I took like a shot of Grey Goose or something like that, a shot of vodka to kind of calm myself down. And I did that maybe 2 times, but I realized after that, I never wanted to do that again. So I stopped drinking anytime I would perform because I always wanted to make sure that it was me up there and not, you know what I'm saying? Because that liquid courage, I always wanted to make sure that I was funny and it wasn't contingent on me having liquor in my system to be funny, if that makes sense. So it was always nerve-wracking. Now the nerves hit different. It's more like I'm more nervous maybe about this event that I have coming up because it's on me, more about everything surrounded. But the stage itself, I get a rush of energy when I hear my name. When I hear Niem Lyons coming to the stage, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Anything that's on my body comes straight out. So that's cool. We're gonna edit that stuff earlier, right? Just in case my family sees that.
Oh yeah, of course.
That's a horrible story. It's a horrible story. Why would you start with that, Catherine? Wow. You didn't prep me for any questions, Cal. Like when I emailed, I said, is there any prep questions or anything I need to know? You did not prep me for this.
What makes it more natural?
You're the PR person. That's
Okay,
amazing. Okay.
so like do you usually get a lot of, because I know we know you get a lot of love and everything whenever you do your shows, but do you get some sort of hate at all?
Yeah, well, it's there. I think comedy is probably a more vicious game than people care to realize. The industry itself, because it's so competitive, right? And like being funnier than somebody could turn somebody off, right? Let's just say like you may be in an area like even like in Chicago. I love Chicago. Chicago's a great place. I think it got one of the greatest scenes here. We got a lot of great comics here. But there is that transitional period when you come to a new location or something like that in any profession, right? You come somewhere, you're like the new kid on the block. Even if you've been doing this a while, right? You're new there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know where you're at, but if you're in Iowa and then you go to Hawaii, right? You're new to Hawaiians, right? And they're like, who's this person coming in? You have to have that buffer period, you know what I mean, before that people just start accepting you, right? Or they may accept you sooner. And then once you kind of get there and they see that you may be a little bit better than expected, then they be like, who does she think she is, or who does he think he is? So I think there is sometimes you get those elements of people kind of either being standoffish or not really giving you your props in the way maybe that you warrant based on what your skill set brings. But sometimes that's just what it is in industry. I mean, you're a journalist, right? So I'm pretty sure in your industry, if you're getting an interview that somebody else can't get, like, how did you talk to Dave Chappelle and we can't get Dave Chappelle on our platform? You know what I mean? Like, sometimes there's going to be some hate there. You know what I mean? Even if it's somebody that you rock with or somebody cool with. So there are elements of sometimes where you get that. Unfortunately, it just doesn't bother me that much. You know what I mean? Because I allow people to be themselves and it doesn't really change who I am. I'm chasing brilliance, by the way. August 20th, chasing brilliance, stand up alive, stand up special. Anyway, shoot live. But but it really is about that. Like the chasing brilliance, like the kind of to really speak on that is really about going after the things that are important to you. You know, it's not even just money and success and just fame. It's about success looks different for different people. You know what I mean? Like living that peaceful existence. And when you live in that way, the outside noise doesn't hurt as much, or you're not as offended by everything that people say. I don't take anything personal. You know what I mean? As long as you can talk about my mom, you can talk about my mom. You know, I love my mom. You know, say Mother's Day, Happy Mother's Day to all the Mother's Day out there. Mothers out there chasing brilliance. You used to go and edit that other part out though, right?
Yes, yes, yes. We always edit like all our. Don't worry. Thank
You're good, Catherine. You're a good journalist, I could tell.
you. Thank you. I appreciate that. So,
Yeah.
like, with your family and everything, were they supportive when you wanted to go into comedy, or were they not?
Yeah. No, my mother is probably the most supportive person you'll ever meet. Maybe too supportive. So I'm like, I don't even want to do that. Okay, I love you, but I don't even want to do that. But no, I got a great family support system. My mother is amazing. She lives in Philly. So she crossed the country, but she's been somebody she's the one that always tells me to continue going. There's moments in this game where you be like, I think I want to do something different or tailor it back. She like, this is who you are, this is who you need to be. And that's Niem. Like, don't worry about all that. She's the one person that like I'll be one like I need money. like look, it's a little weak this month. I need money. You might have a string of shows or you got 10 shows, you know what I mean? Like you good, and then you got 3 or 4. You're like, I need money though, love. I need money. So, but she's the one that continues to pump into me and pour into me. It's been a lot of great people in my life, and as I've grown in this game and expanded and got more friends, people show up for me, and I appreciate that. I never take it for granted because it's not easy doing this. It's not easy at all. So I get a lot of support. And hopefully you can support me, Catherine. But if you keep
Course.
asking the questions that you was asking earlier, setting me up and making me uncomfortable, then I won't be able to come on SlapStik anymore. It's just not going to happen. Now, shout out to SlapStik, man. I like y'all. Y'all cool. Can I
Um,
be able to sit tea on this? I don't just want to sit in tea. Is that okay?
go ahead.
I don't know what kind of rules we have here. I know this says queen, but I'm a king. Don't worry about it. All right, there we go. All right, there we go.
let's see. I don't know what to say. What is the best and worst part whenever you're traveling to your shows?
Mhm. Well, the best part is the journey, right? Like when you're going, like when you get it's something about getting booked. I still get energized when I get booked. Like some people may get booked and they be like, just another show. I get every time somebody reaches out to me and say, what's your rate? or we had this, I still get energized. Like even y'all hit me up, like I've done interviews before, I still get energized for these moments. I'm like, nah, somebody wants to talk to me, where I got opportunities, so, and I get to do what I love. So the best part is the journey. Like someone saying, hey, we want you here, and knowing that I have a place to go, right? Because imagine not having anything to do, right? Just with time and space. So it's just always a beautiful thing. I think that's the best part of it, is just the journey and knowing you're going somewhere. The worst part is the journey, the driving journey. Always driving, the mileage you put on your cars. And it's not even a bad thing all the time, but sometimes you do get tired, like, especially when you got to deal with these big cities and traffic. Traffic can be crazy sometimes, especially like coming out of Chicago, going to Indiana or going to Milwaukee. It can be a lot of traffic. East Coast traffic is crazy too. So, like, I know in DC and Philly, the traffic is crazy. So sometimes that can be a little tedious, just driving, but it's part of the game. You probably spend more time on the road than you do actually on stage. So when you put it in that perspective, but it's part of it though. We chasing brilliance. So.
And what states have you been wanting to go that you haven't gone to yet?
I'm trying to think. Oh, Texas. Texas. I haven't done Texas yet. Haven't done Texas.
Yeah, I'm from here, so it'd be great to have
Okay. Yeah. Texas, Texas. I just was with Shucky. We talked about some things. So maybe Dallas is in the play. Texas, yeah, Dallas. I would love to go to Houston and work down there. I've been to Dallas before, but not to perform. So I would love to go to Texas and kind of see what's down there. I've been all over the West Coast, East Coast, Midwest, but Texas is one of those places I just haven't touched yet. So I'm looking forward to that. So
Oh,
book me SlapStik comedy, Katherine.
it'd be great. I know, like you probably get actually good amount of following here. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah,
cool.
yeah. I just gotta stay away from the food though. I hear the food crazy down there. So
Oh yeah, yeah. What kind of foods do you like?
oh man, well I don't eat any meat, but I eat all the sides. So I eat all the sides. People think sometimes because you don't eat no meat, you can catch it somewhere else. I can catch these potatoes and all these other things because I'm never giving up French fries. I don't care how much plants I eat. I will never give up the plant French fry. Like that is the best planet, the best of the best planet. The best plant on the planet is a French fry. So, but now I love food. I still eat pasta and all that, but I don't eat any meat.
Yeah, we got good food here,
Yeah.
especially in Houston. Oh, the sea, like, yeah, no, it's amazing.
Yeah. I think it's a spot like is Lotus down there, like Lotus Seafood or something like that? I think it's a spot. I don't know, but it's something I saw on like Instagram, and it was ridiculous. I was like, wow,
Yeah, it sounds familiar.
I'd be interested in going down there and indulging a little bit on those side dishes.
Oh
So
yeah. Um, if you're like not, busy with comedy and everything, what do you do in your downtime?
honestly, just preparing for what's next. I think it's important to really stay invested in what you do, because you really can't turn off. When you're an entrepreneur, you really can't turn it off. And to be a independent comedian, you can't turn this off. You can't just say okay, because if you don't do anything, somebody else is, and those opportunities will be there. And even if someone does call you while you're not doing anything, well, maybe you're a little rusty when you get back to the stage. So at least writing, reading, looking at things that are beneficial to the business and the overall business is getting to the stage and producing these shows. Right now, my biggest focus is self-producing. So I have to wear so many hats right now. So I'm doing that, but I mean, I kick it. I'm having a good time too. I'll indulge in the wine sometimes. I drink some wine every now and again, maybe tequila, but I try to stay away from that. Because if I'm drinking tequila, the times get a little bit better than they should. You know, we gotta be careful with that. But yeah, I just kick it, man, having a good time, and yeah, chasing brilliance.
And last question. Uh, what
Already okay.
what is your
Actually,
like
hidden questions. I was waiting for the hard hitting questions. It's all good. I'm messing with you. You're doing a great job playing with you.
thank you. But what is your end goal? Definitely. Like when, you think you've reached your final peak and everything. What is your ultimate end goal?
Well, I don't like finality. I believe that there's always something else. I believe there's always something more to reach for. Right now, so full disclosure, I have a child on the way. So I'll be chasing that little brilliance. You know what I mean? And I think that's important for me to understand that everything that I do now is for the next generation. And because this brilliant baby is going to be an entrepreneur, an artist, a gymnast, a pianist, a violinist, he's going to be, a journalist. He's going to be everything. But no, I don't really work in the space of just saying things. And I always think there's something else to do, something always to move forward to, educating yourself in a space that you can produce and help other people. I mean, if we're not doing it for other people, what are we doing it for, right? Like I would assume in what you're doing at some space, you want to be able to create a platform for other journalists. Like you have the knowledge, then you pass the knowledge on, right? Like you can't. Your ceiling should be somebody else's floor. So I think that's really what it is for me is like continue to teach the game, all the missteps, everything that I went through to get here to this space. And I still have growing to do. I still have levels to hit. Obviously, I'm sitting in, we're sitting in bedrooms right now. This should be a mansion, but whatever. But but we're, as I reach and hit goals, I still want to leave crumbs behind. You know what I mean? And I don't even want to say crumbs, but leave desserts behind for other people to make it a little bit sweeter on the road. As they're going through their journey. I think that's the most important thing you can do is do good, give, and grow. So that's just kind of who I am. But I don't want it to end. I just want to. But we're gonna do film. Maybe I'll be in a play pretty soon. We'll see how I got to audition next week for a play. So we'll see how that works. And I was actually in a couple films last year. So that'll be cool. It'll be cool to see myself on the big screen whenever they finish post production, because post production feels like it takes 6,000 months. But hopefully soon we'll get to see that. But yeah, I don't really like the deal in finales, and you shouldn't either, Catherine, because there's so much more to go.
Definitely. Wait, so can you say what films you were in,
I mean, stuff I can't really get, contracts and all that stuff like that. But I will. Well, there is one movie I will say Tom Hardy's in. You know what I mean? And he's in that movie. So can I say a quick story about this real quick? He's in this movie, so we got casted in this movie as a group of guys, and it was and we were full disclosure, we were like the only black guys in the movie, right? We're the only black guys in the movie, but we got a portion that we're on set there, and we're by these bikes, and it's like this rally going on, and we're sitting there. But the way we were dressed, it's a vintage movie. It's a throwback to like the 60s. So we're in this vintage, we got leathers on, we got these hats, and like everybody on set, and I promise you, everybody on the set kept stopping and taking pictures of us. And like even the director was taking pictures and like, hey, can we get some more shots of you and everything like that? I got a fake cigarette, like shit, just blowing it, right? But then we had another time where there was an actual professional photographer on the side, and he was taking pictures of us, right? And his car pulls up, kind of a pickup truck actually pulls up, and this guy hops out the truck, and he's looking, pulls out his phone, and he starts taking pictures of us. It's Tom Hardy taking pictures of us. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. And I'm like, yo, did Tom Hardy I'm on his Instagram every day. Like, did he post these? Like, you know what I mean? Like, it was the craziest thing. Oh, actually, the funny thing about it, this was shot in Cincinnati, right? So when I was there for fitting, right? I'm on the phone with an interview on the phone, right? And while I'm on it, I'm professional, I'm talking all, this, that, and Tom Hardy walks right by me, like right by me, right? And I'm like, I can't say nothing because I can't go crazy because I'm on the phone interview. He walks right by me. And I go in there, I lose him. He's gone in the building. But it was a crazy experience just being on set with somebody like that because you understand the magnitude of it. And obviously, I wasn't his co-star, obviously, but for him to even take pictures of us in that moment, we just felt validated. You know what I mean? In a way, like as an artist, we did something. So that was pretty dope. So yeah, but yeah, I don't know when that movie's coming out though, but I'll be looking for it. So
That's amazing.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
that's fun. You know what I mean? Shout out to Tom Hardy, man. He's a beast, man. I like Tom Hardy a lot though. So Austin Butler's in the movie too. That's the guy to play Elvis, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, it should be pretty dope. So.
Awesome. Well, Thank you so much for having me interview you and being on SlapStik and everything. We enjoyed having you.
For sure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
No problem. Chasing Brilliance. I will be shooting my live taping of Chasing Brilliance live at the Comedy Vault on August 20th. The goal is to get this on Prime and distribute it on a larger scale. I am self-producing, so I appreciate anybody that may support or come out in some capacity and show love. But Chasing Brilliance is what we're doing. So thank you so much for having me. SlapStik, Katherine, you're great. I should have asked you some questions because you was asking a lot of questions, and I feel like I didn't get to know you the way I needed to know you to do this. Usually I don't talk like this, but I appreciate you.
Thank you. Thank you so
Absolutely.
much. All right.